What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jason here at the Cowpot Bros. Come let you guys know that the date for the anniversary episode has been set, and it's going to be Thursday, April the 21st, episode 53. Mark your calendars down for that. It's going to be a good show, and the main thing is we want to hear from you. So make sure you continue to send us your messages via cowpotbros.com, the message button there, cowpotbros@gmail.com, 405-877-BROS, or just hit us up on social media and let us know what you thought about the first year of the Cowpot Bros, what you liked, didn't like, favorite moments, favorite segments, what have you. Make sure you get those to us by Thursday, April the 14th, the week before. So make sure we have it in time to get it in for the show, okay? And no matter what, make sure you remember this. When it comes to all things Cowpot Bros, make sure you like us, love us, share us, and follow us. Because if you like us, why wouldn't you?
Welcome back to the Cowpart Bros podcast. Jason and I are fresh off the segment discussing the National Football League, diversity. What does the E stand for? It fucks me up every time because I hear E and I think equity.
Well, I think it's close. I'm pretty sure it's like equality.
Got it. And then I is, of course, inclusion. But yeah,
very good.
Acronym fucks me up every time. I get the diversity, and then my brain just turns to fucking Jello. So
you heard it here first, folks. You want to mess up Terrence? Throw him a bunch of acronyms and ruin his day. There you go.
Yeah, acronyms are horrible. Spell that shit out. Anyways, segment 2, we're going to talk about Amazon guilt. And apparently, with Amazon and Amazon workers making a push for unionization, if I can say that word correctly, we're starting to see some pushback on the general public and some sense of ethical dilemma when it comes to e-commerce and how the sausage is made. And some consumers, they're finally starting to put 2 and 2 together, but like, oh damn, well that would explain why this 2-day shipping is so clutch. Yeah, because somebody is in a damn factory somewhere, probably working crazy hours to make sure that all that shit gets boxed up so you can pick it up in a day or two. Yeah. And so when, for example, especially when COVID hit, you had examples of, hey, we don't even have the proper equipment, PPE. I'm like, meanwhile, your boss fucking blasting off to the stratosphere. How the richest damn company in the world don't have what they're supposed to have for their employees. And so, yeah, that is an ethical dilemma. You look at any good or service, there could be an ethical dilemma. I think for a lot of folks, it was just easier to ignore because it was Amazon. The same shit's been going down at Walmart for the last 30 years. How do you think the Waldens became the Waldens? Jason, what are your thoughts when people start to become kind of self-aware of these companies, the amount of money that the average consumer is throwing at them, and then the realization that, hey, in some instances, maybe they're not treating their employees well?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what kind of sparked this to be a topic, is that I was kind of goofing around on CNN, and there was a video interview of one of the reporters talking to a union labor, organizer for Amazon. And basically he was on there, it's like a 2-minute interview, but he's on there discussing what they're pushing for, what they're fighting for, things like that. But the last question that she asked was, hey, should people who shop at Amazon, for lack of a better word, feel guilty, or should they still shop from Amazon knowing that all these issues are going on for the employees of Amazon? That's how that kind of started. But I'm glad you pointed out Walmart, and because obviously the problem necessarily isn't exclusive to Amazon or Walmart for that matter. It can probably be applied to any large-bodied organization that has tons of employees, especially ones that have to unionize, which includes Walmart and Amazon, it's things to think about. Should we be shopping there, supporting the businesses who are putting these employees through these things? Um, Also, it's I found it interesting that you mentioned people can easily turn a blind eye to certain things because you don't see it, right? If it wasn't in the papers, if it wasn't an interview like this out that I just mentioned, I wouldn't be fully aware of this. I wouldn't see it. So it'd be easy to turn a blind eye to these things, either intentionally or otherwise, and just keep doing what you're doing. And for some people who do know what happens, they can still ride with that guilt and still continue to purchase the things they want from these companies. I have more information about that as well. Um, but I guess that's kind of another thing to think about as well is that it's about consistency, I guess, too, because I can understand why somebody might feel guilty from buying from Amazon specifically. And I even know people that refuse to buy from Amazon for for a multitude of reasons, not just their employee labor situations, also just the earth, what do they call it? The uh, environmental reasons behind not shopping Amazon as well. Um, but then I guess you also have to kind of apply that same logic to pretty much everywhere you're going to buy your stuff from, because if you're going to refrain from shopping from Amazon and Walmart, but basically give your money to somebody else who's doing the same things.
Right. But doesn't have maybe as big of a name. Um,
Well, I guess it depends on what we're talking about here, because one of the other, as you were talking, I'm thinking about, okay, what other companies on top of my head can I think of that might in general fall in the same category potentially, like Amazon and Walmart, even if they make less money and have a lesser name. The next thing that came to my mind was Whole Foods, and you laugh. I say that I'm not sure if
no,
there's
no.
a.
Go ahead. No, no. I didn't laugh. I want to hear you cook. Let's do it.
I mean, the reason why I think about them, I'm not sure how many Whole Foods there are in the Chicagoland area because I don't recall seeing any there myself. I'm sure there's some, but there definitely some here in the Indy area. And I'll say now I can't speak for every Whole Foods everywhere, but I know they on some level have a union. I believe if I remember reading that correctly, and I definitely know there are some employees at the very least here in the Indianapolis area and other parts of Indiana as well, who say that their company has issues too when it comes to maybe not to the highest degree of the what Amazon employees are dealing with, but some of the same stuff. Now, obviously, as you and I both know, there is now a connection between Whole Foods and Amazon. But that goes on also what I'm saying is that if you're not going to shop from Amazon because you don't want to support them, then now all of a sudden now you got to start cutting off people that work with Amazon, which is a lot of organizations, including Whole Foods. So definitely not saying that somebody shouldn't feel guilty for shopping at these places. Or not saying anybody shouldn't also refrain from not shopping at these places, but also keep that stuff in mind when it comes to consistency. When it comes to okay, if I'm not going to support this company because of that, now I may need to look into every other aspect of the place where I shop to make sure I'm being consistent.
They're not
And
doing that.
I agree. I agree. But that's, sometimes it's important in life to be consistent. And also, I don't want to throw out the term hypocrite or anything, but consistency. And I agree with you. Not everyone's doing that because obviously Amazon is the big one. It's the big bucks. It's the number one highest making money company in the world. So obviously, all eyes are going to be on them when it comes to what they do. And in some ways, Walmart's probably happy because all the attention has been taken away from them and what they do to their employees or lack thereof. So go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Jason, that there's consistency and then there's just being self righteous for the sake of being self righteous. People, for example, people that swore up and down, oh man, I'm a boycott ESPN, I'm a boycott um, uh, Disney because of the worldwide network stance on, you know, actually not even promoting, but just reporting uh, issues, social justice, George Floyd, actually making sure that athletes felt heard. And people would say, I'm tired of seeing this. I don't want this. I want my sports to be my sports. I don't want to tune this in. I don't want to tune into this. And then they proceed to forget, oh shit. Hey, I'm still subscribing to ABC.
Exactly my point. A company directly related to Disney, ESPN. Exactly my point. I agree completely. Now, yeah, there are some people that actually follow through on what they say they're going to do and stop watching ESPN, Disney, all stuff like that. But I agree with you. I had to imagine, and I could be wrong, of course, but I had to imagine, I agree with you, that the people actually stick to that stuff and actually, again, are consistent when it comes to, in your example, stay away from ABC, Disney, ESPN, any of the ESPN sister stuff. Same thing. But yeah, some people are all talk. Some people will forget as soon as their team's playing again because it's their team, right? Which is what it is. Uh, but I guess, and that's just another example of people riding with that guilt. They still may not like what they see on ESPN when it comes to too much politics. Which, again, folks, social justice is not politics. So let's just stop that right there.
Well, they could be.
No, 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 no.
That's
Stop,
another
stop,
segment.
folks. We're just giving you two topics for episode 52. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's always funny. It's like, dog, how you gonna tell me you boycotting ESPN, but I hear the Ocho on in the background. Stop it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, kind of getting back to what we're talking about in general, as far as the Amazon guilt, and I guess when it comes to the question, is should people feel guilty for buying from Amazon? That's not something. I could say they should or shouldn't, but that's not really for me to say. That's really for each individual to say. If you can read that question out loud, should I feel guilty about buying from Amazon? Knowing the reasons why you should or shouldn't, then there you go. That's your opinion there. If you still feel guilty after knowing all that stuff, then there's your answer. And if you don't, then there's also your answer too. It's up to
Yeah,
each individual.
I think when someone says, should you feel guilty, my first response would be, first off, why do you feel guilty? We have all bought shit from places that whoever is in charge probably has a different opinion about something than we do. And the question is, will simply going somewhere else actually resolve your issue?
Well, that's a very interesting question. When you say resolve your issue, like what do you mean?
So if someone says, "Hey, I have a problem with a company that uses plastic and packaging," I'm like, "Well, okay, well, shit. Good luck finding one." Uh, I I feel like this fight. Perfect example: paper straws. Um, you know, people say, "Hey, that's more better for the environment," and I'm saying, when I'm paying damn near $8 for a specialty drink, I don't give a damn about the environment. Give me a real straw, especially at the United Center. That's ridiculous.
Well, and that's exactly my point, though. Too, it's all about. But that goes to my point. Obviously, you don't feel as bad about that, and that's your thing. Not everyone is into that as other people. It's all about how, I guess, for lack of a better word, how passionate you are about a certain thing. 'Cause if you're passionate about it, yeah, then you're probably gonna go to the nth degree as far as you can go, as far as possible and practical to avoid that stuff. Now, obviously, there's only so much you can do. Like the example you said, companies that aren't using plastic, wrapping and stuff like that. They're out there. You just got to find them, and unfortunately, probably pay the price for it. But if you're willing to do it, then do it. Now, obviously, when it comes to Amazon, there's plenty of other places you can go to buy whatever you're looking to buy. So it's not like if you have any kind of problem with Amazon, it's not like you can't just stop buying from them, right? This is the internet. There's no shortage of places to buy whatever it is you're looking for. I know Amazon has everything, but guess what? So does the internet. Find it.
Yeah, I also think there is a fundamental misunderstanding of just e-commerce in general. Like,
How so?
Uh, Amazon, everything that Amazon sells isn't necessarily made by Amazon. You have a lot of mom and pop shopkeepers that just have a storefront within Amazon.
True.
And so when you're trying to tell someone, "Hey, we're going to boycott them," or "Hey, I have uh some ethical concerns," I'm like, "Okay, it sounds like you have some ethical concerns about the name. There might be some mom and pop screwing over some teenage kid over over you know making sure their hours are clocked properly.
Fair.
But because it's a big name and it's getting the most pub, we throw our energy towards something that we may not even 100% understand.
Well, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like most people do reckon if you shop at Amazon anyway, most people know. I agree with you that what you're buying on Amazon isn't necessarily an Amazon product or something coming like an Amazon good. You know what I mean? There's other people that other companies that have storefronts on there, and you're really buying it from them. Like like the last thing I've got from Amazon was what was it? Was a bag of Vital Wheat gluten. Now, obviously, Amazon didn't sell Vital Wheat gluten, but the company that does sell it, they just have it on Amazon to get sold because it's better for the company. It's more exposure for them. But still, even so, in buying that product, you're still supporting Amazon. Maybe not as much as again if you're buying like some of their actual stuff. I agree, but you're still paying for the service. Am I correct? And that's what partially what keeps Amazon going. So if you're not wanting to support that in any way whatsoever, even obviously, like you just said, even at the cost of hurting that mom and pop, because and I hate saying hurting because obviously potentially we're talking about a smaller grand scheme of individuals, but to the individual, I'm still choosing not to support Amazon despite the fact that I'm also hurting that mom and pop. So
Yeah. Yeah. I When I say boycott, I mean it in quotations because kind of the same way Chris Rock used boycott in relation to Jada Pinkett Smith.
stop.
But
We
yeah,
just we just cannot escape that topic, sir. Come on, move forward.
hey man, I I I just think it's funny when people say, "Hey, I don't want to do business with this company," and that's fine. But at least understand all of the logistics of why you don't want to do it. You know, that's my only thing. It's your money. Spend it guilt free is Terrence's recommendation.
Well, and that's what people are trying to do: spend money guilt free. I'd say, like I said, like I said, and again, we're talking about Amazon again, but apply this to whatever company we're talking about. If you're paying this company for whatever service or product, and you feel guilty about it, examine why you feel guilty, and then once you figure that out, stop doing it. I agree with you. So, but spend your money guilt free. But how many people are actually not doing that? They're still buying and shopping these places again, not just Amazon, with guilt, probably because it's more convenient, whatever. Which is also up to them as well. But yeah, people want to shop guilt free, but they either don't or they won't. They'll just keep the guilt and keep doing it.
Yep. All right. That concludes our 2-day guilt shipping segment.
Nice.
Coming up next, we're going to be talking about that one show that Jason made me watch earlier this year. Bel Air. Coming up next, Top Rock Bros.